I'm Clove. Happy Halloween.
And so we will be watching this spooky CMU game tonight. We will be casting, replacing essentially Mars and Pigsy, so.
Yeah. It's a shame, but we are here to fill in their position.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and look at our standings so far this season. We're getting across, we only have about like 3 to 4 games before the playoffs, so let's see how we're doing right now. We currently have 3 wins, 4 losses. We're honestly doing pretty okay. Could always be Toledo, so.
Oh yeah, poor Toledo. Better luck next season.
But obviously we want to even that out. We want to get a win tonight. Obviously, the higher we up, the better. Hopefully, we get some more wins on our belt before we go to playoffs, and hopefully, we get that good momentum, a lot of that good practice as we go into playoffs, because every little thing that we do will matter. So, hopefully, we take all of the experience we've had so far in all of our past games, and we just harness all of that energy, harness all of the things that we've seen, the things we've learned of, and hopefully, we even that out and maybe even go higher.
Oh, of course, especially since we are playing against Kent State, who is number 3 right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really got to, every kill counts at this point. Kent is probably a very competitive and very ruthless team. So hopefully we can pull on top.
Yeah, hopefully we've seen a little bit of them. Hopefully we've done our research. Hopefully we have those counters. We have those counter picks. We know what to ban. Maybe going out of our comfort zone a little bit with maybe new agents, new play styles, but hopefully we bring home a win tonight, because that's all that really matters.
Absolutely. And I would love to see them trying those bigger group strats instead of just splitting up.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, I'm just excited to maybe see some new strats. So we're going to see our map picks right now for tonight. So it looks like CMU has banned Icebox. Icebox, not a super popular map for some reason. I think, personally, it's not that bad to play on, but I guess CMU wasn't feeling it.
Yeah, of course. Icebox just not doing it for them today.
Yeah, we haven't had Icebox at all this season. Looks like the opposing, Kent, has banned Sunset, which honestly might be good for CMU because we haven't performed super well on Sunset. It's honestly kind of been like a give or take map for us. So honestly, in CMU's favor right there.
Yeah, of course. CMU has banned Ascent. I believe we had played that a few games ago, and I don't remember us doing exactly the greatest.
I feel like Ascent was one of those maps that we were able to make a comeback on. We did understand Ascent a little bit more than the other maps. Like we showed our value here and there, but I feel like overall the other team was able to adapt faster than we could, but we never really lost Ascent by a huge margin. Like that isn't our worst map.
Right.
Then they have also banned Bind, which we did play not that long ago. It was kind of a give or take map.
Yeah. Just very on and off, not doing it.
Looks like the first map will be Lotus.
Very, very a classic for Central.
Alright, the first map will be Abyss and the second map will be Lotus. And then our last map, the Decider, hopefully we don't even have to go there. CMU could just take Abyss and Lotus and we're calling it a night. But third map will be Haven. We've done okay on that one, so let's see how Abyss goes.
Yeah, best of luck to Central on Abyss, because they have not been doing so hot on Abyss.
Yeah, it was really rough when we played Abyss last time, and it just felt like we weren't really taking advantage of a lot of the aspects of the map. Like, there's so many entry points. It's honestly really easy being on attack, but it just felt like CMU, they didn't have the best crossfires here and there, and they got a little too antsy. You saw them rotating before they even needed to. It was just a very scattered and not very well melded together defense.
Right, of course. Already, one of our players is already down. Very grouped together. It looks like there's already two groups.
Spike
has already been planted. Hopefully they can find their way out of this.
Yeah, you saw CMU essentially kind of gave them the site. There was no protest from them there.
Yeah, of course. Already down to two
Last
players
player
left. Hopefully, well,
yeah, you see right
unfortunately.
there. Post-plant on Abyss is so strong on B specifically because of how many different angles the opposing side can peek from. Like, you could see there, the CMU player, there's nothing he could do because even if he made little micro adjustments trying to peek that angle, he would still run into probably two players at a time.
Right, and it's just super it's that need to be a part of a team and need to group together and take it on as one rather than trying to do a 2v1 at this point.
Yeah, honestly, here, I feel like it wouldn't be that bad to just gamble stack. Just all stack one site together, but CMU they want to play a little bit more normal. They want to play a little bit more default. Spat unfortunately going down there.
Yeah, that was a very sharp hit. Just immediately was waiting for him.
Able to get some damage off on two players, but BeefStroganoff really needs to stay back and wait for backup here.
Right, of course.
But I guess he doesn't. It's just a little risky there because he could just be killed and not be traded there.
Yeah, and Beef is a very strong and coordinated player, and he works really well when it comes to having at least a little bit of backup.
Revealing area.
It's just unfortunate
Last player
there's just
standing.
not much CMU can do there. They are at a gun's disadvantage. Bannable was taking on his own fight in spawn.
Yeah, it's kind of impressive almost how Kent State is able to drive them away from each other and make them scatter. And now Bannable has to deal with a 1v3 and a spike already planted.
Yeah, it was practically an impossible round because if Bannable runs to Stroganoff there, then he gets caught off guard by that Kent player, but if BeefStroganoff backs off and helps Bannable, then they have no time to defuse in the first place. So it's a really hard situation, and I feel like maybe stacking there would have been better.
Right, of course. Already we're seeing this huge split between them, while Kent State is super condensed and in a group. I just feel like Central could take a page out of Kent State's book and work together.
Yeah, we have our first rival round here, so hopefully CMU, I would like to see a little bit more offense here. If they just take the space and they let Kent State know, like, this is our space, and maybe put a few question marks in their head here and there about the push and like their execution, but CMU is just so defensive right now, and not in particularly a good way. As you see, yAime and Jett were not coordinated there at all. They were not expecting that push, and now, since the spike's down, Kent can just sit back and relax and aim main.
Right, and that was a very tight situation that yAime was in. Just super tight choke point with the entire team of Kent State just waiting for him.
Hopefully Spad's able to get this defuse on. He's not really being spotted by Kent State, and he's able to get that defuse without having to take out the rest of the players.
That was honestly really impressive that they were able to get so much coverage and distraction that no one could even tell that Spad was over there.
Yeah, the distraction for sure, and they cut off Kent State's line of sight, so it put a lot of question marks in their head. Like, are they defusing? Are they just baiting us out? Like, it was hard for them to decide, and they invested a lot of util there that maybe could have been better in the fights out they were taking, but it was a good coordinated attack there, and they were able to save some rifles just because of that.
Right, and hopefully they can continue to keep that energy, so hopefully we get a win on Kent State.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see Spad because we've seen him super strong on Cypher before, but I really want to see like the value he gets off of his trips and how he plays. But he's usually all alone, so he can't get much value.
Right, of course.
Beautiful headshot there.
Yeah. Immediate trade-off. Spike's already planted. Causing a bit of a shuffle, but I'm hoping that Central can keep their cool and defuse it.
We need to see some coordinated peaks here from CMU, otherwise this could be devastating because yAime has the ID here, but you see they constantly have to be moving back and forth between different
last player standing.
It's overwhelming.
Right, and you could see that in yAime's playthrough that there was just too many too many focal points to really focus on. It was just too much, and like it was to the point where he almost kind of just stopped.
Yeah, it's just overwhelming. It's overstimulating because in that situation, Kent State is in control. They can control when they don't peek, when they do. Everything is up to them because CMU has to be the one defusing there. It's so interesting that the bomb kind of changes who's in control. If the bomb's down, then the attackers are in control. But if the bomb isn't, then the attackers are forced to go to the defenders. And it's really important that you capitalize off of where the bomb is at.
Kent State is doing something really interesting where two players split off to kind of almost match what Central's doing. And they're getting what they want as they got one of our players already down.
Yeah, unfortunately not able to get the trade there, and it just gives Kent State so much map space. They have so much to work with, and now CMU is getting a little antsy because they have more areas of the map that they don't have in their possession anymore.
Right. It kind of feels like that Central is getting a little bit predictable, but hopefully that does not deter Central, and maybe they could even switch it up to catch Kent State off guard.
Looks like Kent State is going towards the site that they were able to pick someone off yet, probably predicting that it's the weaker site. Really good time paranoia there from Kent State. Like set their duelist up for success.
The spike already being planted by Kent State. Hopefully they can locate that spike and take it out, or at least take out the rest of the players, but that is seeming unlikely from Jay.
We're seeing like these retakes. It just feels like deja vu. We're retaking the same way every single time. We need to be a little bit more coordinated, a little bit more aggressive. Maybe we have a flank to deter them from constantly sitting in main.
Right. I'm curious, who would you want to be seen as like the flank to carry that out?
Well, I mean, I would honestly prefer Spad, because with that Cypher util, he'll know if someone's behind him, if someone is lurking the lurker. But I don't know, it just depends. It could be anyone from the site that isn't being hit. I think it's just important that when you pinch them and you pinch them well, like it can do wonders.
Right. Unfortunately, Central could not finish that off, but hopefully we'll get them next round.
Yeah, Central forced to kind of be on a half-buy sort of save here just because they lost that round, and fortunately Kent State kind of rolling in the dough right now. This is a really important round for CMU because if they were able to just get a few rifles here and there, that could change the economy for Kent.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very much hoping that Central can just
Get out of
even
my
at
way.
least get one more round under their belts so they can upgrade their weapons, and not even give Kent State the chance to continue their economy.
What's interesting here is when we last played Abyss, we saw the enemy team constantly running it down mid on their saves, and you see CMU kind of doing the same thing. Like, hey, that worked out for that team. Like, we might as well try it. And I really like that embracing of different strategies, especially from the enemy teams who have done really well against us.
Absolutely. It's very nice to see that Central is trying new things, is understanding Abyss a bit more, and is watching what other
Loving
teams.
this flank right here
Weapon
from
here.
Spade and Bannable.
Spike
If
planted.
they help out yAime here, that's another player down.
Yeah, unfortunately, yAime getting the...
yAime falls, but Spad picks it right back up.
Hopefully Spag can clean up yAime's mess.
And with that ult, they know
Last
exactly
player
where the players
standing.
are. Spad not able to react as fast as he'd like.
Bannable being the only one left, but it's possible that he could carry this out.
It's still impressive. On a save, going from a 5v5 to a 1v3 is not that bad. They were able to take out multiple rifles, and you saw them use a different strategy that honestly didn't work out that bad.
Yeah, the fact that they tried to do the flank is
And the flank
is
worked,
a good,
so
good learning
hopefully-
curve.
Yeah, hopefully they repeat that because the flank did work.
Right, and I'm sure they would not expect it, at least. As long as they refine that flank a bit more, I'm sure that they would be able to succeed in it.
I like the double up there because if one falls, they probably don't expect another person
Yeah.
to be on the flank. So it was honestly such a good plan. It was just unfortunate how everything played out there.
Right. And honestly, having flanks would benefit them more if they wanted to split up, as Central does. Very
Central
frequently.
actually has the
want to
lead
fight?
here. Being on the right side, but not able.
Scotty.
Thankfully, a trade goes down, but you see CMU and Kent just going head to head here.
Right. Yeah, this is very tense, where they clearly can't see each other, but
Spike
are,
planted.
are so close to one another.
Yeah, exactly. This Astro Wall is so good, especially for this take. You see them do the exact same thing they did 2 rounds ago. But thankfully, we have Jay with that ult. They know exactly where the players are.
It looks like Spad did attempt to try and defuse, however, just did not have enough time or coverage from his teammates.
Fortunately, CMU being a little
Last
overwhelmed
player
right now.
standing.
Once again, the attackers having so many places to peek from.
Right. Honestly, this was a very nice change of pace. Unfortunately, it did not work in our favor, but that was...
It was a much better retake.
Yeah.
Especially with a powerful ult like Astro Ult dividing up the site. We're still able to get a few kills here and there and not let us completely deter from retaking the site. Like, it was a lot better. I feel like we play a little bit better on A than we do on B, and I would like to see that type of energy and strategy when we retake B, or we just put more players towards it, because our retakes have been a little bit lackluster, and I honestly feel like if we had Spad, 2 other players, the site's locked down. No one's getting in there.
Right. That Astro Wall was honestly really clever, especially since the enemy team kind of almost gave up at the end, letting Spad pass through it and see
Standing
where
ahead.
that side was. Already a firefight starting.
See a bunch of util being used, but also being used in such a good way.
Right, now everyone's taking their time, peeking over walls. Hopefully Central will take their time and kind of assess the situation rather than going in guns blazing.
Yeah,
Looks like everyone is recuperating.
yeah. Kent saw a lot of presence from CMU, and even though they do have the gun advantage, they don't want to walk into a trap or something like that. And that's a good thinking, especially on your bot. You want to be taking those fights that are more advantageous to you.
Cutting through.
That was a very nice shot from Jay, and hopefully he can
Last
continue
player
that streak.
standing.
And unfortunately not.
I really would have liked to maybe see him use the flash there. I feel like we are dry peeking like a lot. You see Bannable, he has so
Spike
much
planted.
utility. And it's towards the end of the round.
Yeah, if they were working a little bit more together, knowing that Bannable had that much utility, hopefully they could have at least saved him till at least it was a bit more fair of a fight.
Yeah, of course. Seeing CMU finally on a full buy once again. I'd really liked to maybe just see the gamble stacking. I feel like we are struggling a little bit, and maybe full retakes together would be a lot better because we see a few fall and then the rest of the retake kind of do. So hopefully we play a little bit smarter here.
Already a firefight starting. Everyone's pretty spread out on the map, honestly.
I really liked that play from yAime there, but it was just unfortunate that his crosshair couldn't line up. And maybe it's just because I'm biased because of his agent.
Yeah, you have a... Oh, Jay spotting the enemy.
They're a little spread out. It is a 4v2, so
jump.
looks like CMU has solved the mystery a little bit.
Yeah, hopefully they can keep this energy up and hopefully win this round.
Yeah, it looks like they do know where two players are because Kent State's Omen did ult and then
One enemy
they're Jett
remaining.
walking around it. It kind of seems like the round is in the bag. Kent State's too nervous to play right now. He's in too much danger.
Absolutely. I'm kind of impressed that they've locked this down so quickly.
Spad ending the round with a clean shot.
Very clean, very calculated, and honestly, I enjoy how much they just took a breath and just took their time, just taking those kills out.
Yeah, I actually saw like a few strategies here and there that they don't really do. Like, I really like that crossfire that they kind of did in the beginning of the round, yAime and Spad, just because they don't really expect someone to be peeking there. Especially because CMU should be trying to benefit from the things that they haven't done, because it'll catch them off guard.
Absolutely. Honestly, it would be very cool if they could get a more spontaneity, if it's in their favor. Because I mean, no one's gonna expect
Right,
some
exactly.
random
It is
play.
spontaneous.
Well,
Kent State really loving to work the map here, and
Camera
they
taken out.
are really comfortable taking a lot of these fights because they always come out on top, so they're comfortable just like spreading out their entire team to all parts of the map, winning those fights and then deciding where to go in the end.
absolutely, they are a well-oiled machine and clearly know their way around this place. As this
Spike
was their
planted.
chosen map, potential firefight occurring there. Everyone's super clumped
Time to
together.
You see Bannable and Jett do some magic.
I do love the grouping up together.
Yeah, they're
to have
taking
each other's
this
back.
really well. Such a good clone by Jett, even though, albeit,
One enemy remaining.
now they know where the last player is, and they've locked down the round. You see that two players on two different sides of the site coming together, and then they take out the last few. It was just perfect. It was a really good execution.
Yeah, that was extremely well organized from Central.
Don't forget that.
Very impressed with this turnaround, honestly.
Definitely gotta give credit to the aim because they were winning their duels on their own, even if they had someone there. They weren't necessarily peeking together, but they had the support of each other.
Right.
My out's
Hopefully
ready.
that they can continue that energy and just get it over with. Their economy is pretty well with all of those guns.
Yeah, you kind of see Kent State just going back and forth between sides. You see them actually going B this time, even though they have their Astra ult.
Right. It's very different sides of the maps that they're approaching on, but Kent State is being very aggressive.
CMU is probably gonna have to play full retake there, but unfortunately, Jett not able to get much
Spike
off of that.
planted.
That was such a good play.
It almost feels like Kent State is either a bit nervous or very confident, because that was a very fast spike plant.
The timing here could be perfect, but it's just not.
Kent State must be thinking, alright, we have been made a fool of too many times and we're just going to lock in and get this over with. However, Central
Revealing
might
area.
not let them do that with how close they're getting this firefight. and Beef already finding
Last
this fight
player
to
standing.
defuse.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're kind of. Bannable was kind of being a decoy there.
Yeah.
Because they weren't expecting a person to still be on the bomb. That was such a good play.
Yeah, no one
They're kind of
expects the
faking
second
them out.
player.
Before the switch.
There's another one.
Honestly, splitting into two is working really well for them.
Now it's just kind of them just outsmarting them, because you saw them as soon as they killed Bannable, they were looking somewhere else.
They had no idea that smoke cover and having Bannable there just to be that almost meat shield for Beef, which is super impressive.
And interesting enough, that kind of pushed Kent State away from going that site, even though there wasn't a big skill differential there, but it looks like they're just going back and forth.
Very risky move from yAime over here, going off of the map and right back in.
Definitely, that is the most interesting aspect of Abyss, is all the different ways you can navigate the map, because it's meant to be played like that. They put all those entries so you can move around, teleport into places that the enemy team wouldn't expect you to, or that you can't do on other maps.
Right. Yeah, that was a very cool, quick pick, and then just
Spike
bolting
planted.
away, getting out of there.
Almost were a little concerned he wouldn't make it.
Yeah, I was a little worried we'd see a kill cam.
I'll handle this.
Loving this Yoru pick on Abyss. I wish there was a little bit more usage of Yusa from Jay, but it's such a good pick. It gives you so much info, even as a duelist.
Yeah, what would you say is the most
Portal closed.
well-rounded character for Abyss?
I'm a little biased, but I really like Kent State's Astra pick. Like, I love the double smoke, but Astra is so good on this map just because everything lines up
Player
perfectly.
standing.
You see her, she's super good for post plant. She's super good for attacking. Like, she's super good for defending. Everything pretty good. Unfortunately, CMU weren't able to weave
Central
a win
did
there.
try their double
Switching
players again
sides.
with Jay defusing, and I believe Bannable standing there waiting for the firefight as that shield.
Yeah,
However,
unfortunately, they weren't gonna fall for that again.
yeah, Jay got a little too nervous and backed off.
It's important to note where they plant the bomb. They're trying to prevent stuff like that. When they plant it against a wall, there's a very narrow area that they have to shoot compared to if they planted it out in the open, because that player could be anywhere. But when you plant it against the wall, there's a definitive space that the player can be, that they can just spray and almost always be guaranteed to get the diffuser off.
Right. I mean, the only thing crazier than having two players is having three players in the smoke.
That would be a little bit hard.
Central Michigan, or I'm sorry, we switched places. Kent State super spread out.
I'm liking this mid push from CMU because they kind of tend to stray away from mid, especially honestly on most maps. They try not to go mid, they try doing a full push, but I'm really liking how they're working the map here.
Yeah, of course. Honestly, this huge group up together is working really well for them. They're like a strong wall just being pushed forward.
It looks like they have the right read here because Kent State only has their KO defending the site, and it looks like they're kind of backing off a little bit. CMU is getting a little explosive right now, and they decided they don't want to deal with that.
Right. A lot of grouped up space. Looks like Beef's already planting. Very close to the edge there.
Yeah, exactly. It's for that spray to make sure. And you see them trying to do the exact same Kent State has been doing, especially with those post plants, but you see they have the counters to their own strategies. You see them already pulling out the flank.
Right. I do wonder if Kent State will take a chapter out of, and it seemed like they were, take a chapter out of Central's book by keeping at
One
least
enemy remaining.
other person near the
Unfortunately,
diffuser.
they were able to get the bomb because maybe it would have been better to play a little bit more on the site there, because Kent State was so ready. They were just like, yeah, this is a strategy we do. We know exactly how to counter it. And I think it's important that CMU knows that. They were a little bit aware of the flank, but there was so much going on that they weren't super focused and together there. We were a little disgruntled.
Yeah, but yeah, already Kent State having the better guns, and just keeping their energy very aggressive. But hopefully Central can get a win on this one and turn the tide.
You see them a little bit more spread out, which isn't the norm for save rounds. Usually you want to stay together, so if there's a rifle player on, use the power of friendship
Spike
to get
down
that rifle,
A.
but
I do love that being the term, power of friendship.
Last player
Yeah,
standing.
unfortunately, I don't think Central's going to be winning this one.
Spat definitely should have waited for Jay there, just because it would have been such a more favorable fight. And you can see Jay's shots are a little bit on point. So
Yeah. It's just a situation of
seeing a lack of like discipline and patience a little bit here and there when you see CMU play.
Would you say that Central might be getting either nervous or a bit frustrated
Maybe
with how
just a
things are
little
turning?
antsy. You can say the players have their own agendas and a little bit of their own ways they like to play a lot of these rounds, but I feel like they really need to come together, especially on those save rounds, because they can be so important. If you can turn a save round into a win, that's phenomenal. Like, that usually doesn't happen, but it can with the right resources, with the right taking advantage of the opportunity.
Last player standing.
Wow, huge
Spike
fire!
down A.
Wow, okay. A round just done in seconds.
Unfortunately,
I'm not
it
even
was-
sure what happened there.
it was really nice to see. At least they all kind of went down together. You saw them all backing each other up.
Right, that was crazy how quick that went. Super unfortunate. I wonder if that was an all or if it was just a whole like huge firefight.
It was just a
of
big conglomerate of util and bullets, unfortunately. I really like to see the aggression when they're on defense. It's not really expected. yAime and Jay were ready for that, but unfortunately, the Sova all perfectly aimed.
Yeah.
Spike
That
down
was-
A.
Well, the spike has already been planted. Hopefully they can keep it down.
That
Last player
Bannable and
standing.
Spad really needed to play together there, just because Bannable, he kind of needed some backup when he was planting, because now they do know where he is.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was an unfortunate situation where having your own agenda just doesn't work when your teammate is the one with the spike.
Yeah, they really also could have, Spad could have benefited off of Bannable's util there, but it was just an
Match
unfortunate
point.
scenario. I understand the pressure that comes in a 2v3 because there is that man disadvantage, and as soon as you go down, like, your teammate's left in a 1v3.
Right. And I can see why that last player would get so antsy and nervous because, you know, you're with a bunch of other people and there's no one there to support you.
Yeah, and we are going to match point right now, so CMU kind of needs to figure out what they can do here. It's definitely not impossible. We've seen CMU come back, even if they haven't won, they've come back maybe 8 to 12. Like, you can see their potential. Hopefully, they've solved a few mysteries here and there about how Kent State plays and how they should be able to counter that, but it looks like a lot of it is just kind of being outgained.
Right. Well, even if Central does not win this map, hopefully they can take the knowledge that Kent State is giving them and kind of read Kent State a bit more and see what they might do when attacking or how to counter them.
Thankfully, we are in a 4v2 right now, and they kind of have an idea where the last two players are.
Last
so
player standing.
hopefully not being forced into a severe map loss.
Yeah, with the spike already planted, hopefully they can just quickly clean up Kent State and head over onto the next map.
Loving this high-low angle here. That's kind of why I like Abyss. It's just because there's so many high-low angles. There's so many places to put a bunch of players. Like, this crossfire, what do you even do?
Right. What a great setup with Jay and Bannable.
Gonna be be hard for CMU here and there because they do have to try and balance their eco as they go. Obviously, they can't buy out every single round, and you know they might lose a few players here and there, and they have to try and scourge up whatever they can.
Right. They in weapons area, they probably need to save up for bigger fish and take a different round, take another battle.
You see that high-low again. Like, what does CMU do to counter that? There's not much they can do.
Yeah, they took out 3 of Central's
Last player standing.
defenses just
Spike down B.
immediately.
They're super confident and strong on the attack. You see them just running in, guns a-blazing, seeing that
Defenders
spray.
win.
Right, it's just a huge situation of just full force confidence, with no backing down, no hesitation.
Yeah, there was just not much they could do there. You saw them trying to come back here and there, but it kind of went down to aim a lot of the times. If CMU was able to take those solo fights and win, then it would have been the same way. It would have been practically indifferent from Kent State and CMU. If CMU was just on their A game with their aim, it would have been the same exact result. You see,
Right.
but unfortunately, we were just not able to connect those shots a lot of the time, and you saw it, we only really won when we did.
Yeah, honestly, I'm still very proud of Central. The amount of different tactics they use, the flanking, using 2 people, having one person defuse and one person as a shield. Honestly, really good plays that I don't think I've seen from Central here.
Yeah, so hopefully we see if they've had any other strategies they've been practicing in the next map. So we'll see you after the break.
Spike. Last player.
Where is
You are divided.
my soul is scary. I'm back.
One enemy remaining.
Enemy down. Shadows traveling.
Hi, welcome back.
Welcome back.
So we are going into our second map, and hopefully we are able to see a little bit more interesting things, and it will be interesting to see how Kent plays this because they've been doing so good in the season. So we are going into Lotus. It looks like we're doing our typical comps, not doing anything crazy. We're keeping those core roles that we have and the same people on the same type of roles and the same type of agents. So we're not seeing anything out of the ordinary, even though we would like to see a little bit more spontaneousness there, but
Yeah, I am very excited to see if they will implement newer ideas or strats with these more regular heroes that they play, or agents.
yeah. So Lotus we've done okay on. We've played the most of like the three site maps. We struggle a little bit trying to find that balance of where to put our players on those three sites, and we have seen, especially like Bannable is a super critical role there just because of his smokes, being able to block off the enemy, being able to block off line of sight, and I assume we'll see him be just as important in this map.
Right. Yeah, I'm very curious to see how Bannable and Beef tend to be the most consistent, and Spad as well. Spad tends to diffuse a lot of the spikes. So I hope that it continues to be pretty consistent.
Yeah, BeefStroganoff always playing Initiator, and you'll always see him get good value off of that Initiator. Really love seeing him on Fade and Sova. That is the one role that I feel like you should never change.
As the previous map, what character or what agent would you say is the most well-rounded for Lotus?
It's tricky because it depends. I do have a bias towards Cypher because of all of the setups. You have all of the one-ways, you have a bunch of the trips. It can really catch off guard a team that is very explosive and doesn't really take their time clearing things.
Right. Already a firefight already starting. Hopefully they can either get out of there or hold their ground.
Yeah, you see how explosive, how much util just came off of them trying to end.
Yeah, this is a little bit messy for yAime.
No one
Spike
has
planted.
fallen yet, but it will be a pretty hard retake.
Yeah. Kent State just immediately super aggressive, taking over that place, claiming that spike, and now just holding their ground.
We have essentially the same comp as unfortunately Kent getting the first blood.
Yeah.
One enemy
Just
remaining.
Immediately, a lot of people getting taken out, but we
Last
do have
player
the advantage.
standing.
Well, and now it's
And just able to close off that 1v1, everything happened so fast, but Cmich was
Right.
able to bounce back really well after Kent State's duelist getting 3 there.
really nice of Beef, just holding back for a little bit to take out that last person and just clean it all up. Hopefully they use that economy well, and get better weapons.
Yeah, so Lotus honestly isn't that bad for a close range weapon, so this might be a little bit more balanced than it looks. You see a lot of places they can hit, especially B. You see Kent State more centered towards B because it does have those angles that favor their type of guns. And it could just end horribly for CMU just because of their long range guns. Like the Marshall isn't going to do super well on B.
Yeah.
But that does spell out the same for CMU if they were to ever go on a save round. That it really isn't as bad as it looks.
Well, hopefully they know what they're doing. Already
Spike
they've taken
planted.
2 of them out.
One enemy remaining.
Aggressive.
Yeah, seeing super good there, breaking up that crossfire with Neon because they have so much to focus on, and then you have another player coming in behind the Neon. Super good way to break up the crossfire there. Usually use a person, use flash, use whatever you gotta do. That was super well played.
Right. Resuming back to the defusing after switching out their guns. Hopefully they can keep this energy. They're doing super well.
Yeah, they're going into this bonus with a pretty good guns. It honestly wouldn't be an unfair matchup as long as they play together because they do have a few guns that are a little bit not as good as a rifle in here and there, but as long as they just try to play those more passive angles with the guns that they have, it can really work out.
Yeah, of course. I can see why that this was their chosen map.
I'm outta here.
How much more confident they seem in this. Because we just went through two rounds super quickly. Much more quicker than we did on Abyss.
Yeah, absolutely. You see Kent State kind of just waltzing into A. Unfortunately, Spad kind of on his own, kind of relying on his strips to do any of the work.
Right, yeah, unfortunately they don't seem to be as
Give me a corpse.
grouped up with those 2 flanks. But I can see why they wouldn't, as they don't want to seem predictable.
Really love the discipline there from Spad as you saw him trying to back up and you see super good util and teamwork there. There was just nothing that Spikey could do there.
Right, already having half majority of the team down. Hopefully that they can keep this energy up and get their 3rd win.
Yeah, I'm loving how yAime
One
has been
enemy
playing this
remaining.
Neon. It's such an impressive,
Last player
spontaneous way of
standing.
playing the agent.
Right, they are just playing cat and mouse with this last agent.
And he's able to land a shot there, ending the round with a 3K, and you saw him with super good Neon tech there.
I didn't come here to die.
Honest,
My ultimate.
honest, pretty impressive. I don't think I've seen yAime play Neon yet, but extremely confident in that character.
I mean, he has good movement because we do see yAime playing a lot on Raze, and though the mechanics aren't exactly the same, it is that same premise of going in there as fast as possible and catching the enemy team off guard.
Would you say yAime plays more of those fast, agility kind of flanking characters?
Well, it depends because we do see yAime sometimes on KJ as we see on Ascent. I think he has a really good balance of both roles. He's really flexible. He can kind of do whatever you let him.
Very versatile. Already a fight breaking out.
And he was able to use his util to get his team out of there. Like, you see how flexible he is, especially on an agent that's mostly
Spike
offensive.
down. See ya.
Yeah, I love this teamwork of just working together, getting it through, with yAime's all pushing everyone past rather than just himself. Hopefully that they can finish up this fight.
Super good wall bang there. The walls on Lotus are essentially paper thin. That's
Spike
why
planted.
the Op and the Odin are honestly really good guns to use. But we saw a little bit of it here and there from CMU, especially BeefStroganoff on the Odin, but not really seeing much of it right now.
I do wish Spad would have had some support back there, because he
Last
was
player
aware of where the
standing.
team was, leaving Beef to have to finish this fight by himself.
Unfortunately, Beef just not expecting that person to be right there behind him.
One enemy
Yeah.
remaining.
Very unfortunate, especially with how this round started. It was going so well for them.
Yeah, but I mean, they didn't really falter. There was just a few unlucky situations here and there, but CMU, they were consistent throughout. They haven't really been playing differently from their other rounds, and maybe that's why it did fall flat. But you can see them a lot more confident in what they're doing right now. And you see CMU basically on a save at the moment, but they do have some strong guns here and there. And we have seen what some of the members can do, especially on a sheriff. So
Absolutely. Hopefully that they're a bit more spread out than usual. It looks like even one of them is just following their own path, but I'm hoping that because they're on a very familiar map that they're just like, you know what, we know what we're doing and we can figure it out.
really good of yAime to get the lurker there, because it kind of slims down
Spike
Kent
down
State's
A.
options of where to go. They are kind of forced to go towards A.
Right. Already a bunch of firefight happening. Getting a really good trade.
Last player standing.
Just super good. It's super hard to counter this neon movement, because what do you do when they slide like that? It's really hard to track, and that is essentially her strength, especially with her slide, is you can't really track it.
Right. Which honestly makes her pretty
enemy
well-rounded
remaining.
for being the last
Spike
player
down A.
standing, or last agent standing, because she just gets in there, gets out, and you aren't able to really track her.
Seeing yAime having so much discipline there, not falling for the
Spike
bait.
planted.
Both times Kent State tried to bait out where he was.
Very cat and mouse game happening right now, just following each other's movements.
Just a little bit in yAime's control, because he can't bait him out. And he's just able to land the shot there again with the 3K again.
Very well put for yAime. Just no nonsense, getting in, getting out, and keeping his cool.
The confidence that he has on Neon is kind of showing right now.
Right, I think this Neon pick will be most likely the winning factor unless Kent State finds a way to counter it.
Yeah, you can see it kind of made Kent State go into a timeout only being 3 rounds down, because how do you counter a neon? How do you counter a neon slide? How do you counter a neon ult? There's so many factors that have to essentially align to take down the neon. Like, you either need a trip, you either need multiple people peeking. Even then, when you have multiple people peeking, just because of how hard it is to shoot the running character, you can sometimes you can take down both people in a crossfire, and it's just hard. And they're just gonna have to reevaluate how they push, and maybe it's possible they could just avoid the neon entirely. Like, they spot the neon and they leave, but it depends on how they want to play it, if they want to play it more passively or if they want to play more aggressively. But it is a really hard agent to play around, and I feel like their best counter might just be their neon, but I guess we'll see.
Right. Yeah, they do have a neon, that's right. It would be interesting to see an almost flank character distracting the other flank character and having one person as that role of, you need to take this other player out, and that's your entire role.
Right, usually I'm not a big fan of duelists lurking, but because of how fast Neon can get from one point to the other, and with her buff, like, it honestly wouldn't be a bad idea to have her as the agent that works on that.
Absolutely. But yeah, definitely Central is making Kent State very nervous. Super quick firefight happening right now.
Ending in a 2v3, there's so many ults on the board right now. Seeing one be used at the moment, they're running away after that fight because they know the last 2 people are there.
Right, and
Spike
hopefully
planted.
now that the spike is planted, that they can either take out Kent State and defuse the spike. Being very careful and lurking around corners, find another entrance to hopefully redirect their energy towards.
Last player standing.
Unfortunately, BeefStroganoff is a little low right now, and they did unfortunately invest a Clove off there, so there's just so much for him to do, and even if he gets all 3, there just won't be enough time to defuse.
Absolutely, yeah, especially with Neon out, it would be a much more practiced and patient waiting game, but unfortunately that spike is waiting for no one.
Yeah, absolutely. Thankfully, he's able to get out of there with a gun, so he did get some value off of this round, but it's unfortunate to see that Kent State did kind of make some sort of counter in that timeout. They did try to play it differently.
Yeah, clearly they needed to step back and reevaluate, and they definitely took that to heart. And hopefully Central can get back their that fast-paced, very consistent win streak.
Yeah, there's so many ults on the board. I would love to see the aggression right here with Neon with the ult. Exactly what I was gonna say. I'd like to see a little bit more backup from the team. That is the thing about Neon, is it's really hard for the rest of the team to keep up. But thankfully they're able to get the trades off here and there. But it would have been really cool to see if there's any value
Weapon
that they
here.
could have got more with the Neon ult.
One thing I am wondering is that, is there an agent that
Where
would
is
complement
everyone hiding?
Neon enough to keep up with her?
I think Breach, just because how far his flashes and his stuns can go, I think that would be the most optimal because of how fast she goes. They can just kind of coordinate here and there, but it is really hard to keep up. Even with
Last player
a
standing.
movement agent like Raze, it's just super hard.
Wow, they really just backed them up into the corner with that attack. Hopefully they can make it make that round up in the long run, but actually super close scoring right now. Kent State is clawing their way back up.
Hopefully they don't get to pull too much up. We still have a lot of ults on the board, especially good for retake. We have that Breach ult, we have that Fade ult. Super good for retake. Hopefully we aren't hesitant to use them because these rounds are important. It is important to have that momentum, that morale. So I think it's worth it in the end to use the ults as they come.
Absolutely, especially in this. Ooh, that was a very nice headshot.
Yeah, they were super close from getting the second one, but unfortunately Stroganoff was not able to connect, and he was alone for the second time he peaked.
Right, just very unfortunate. Almost poor teamwork, where a little bit more coordination would have been better off for them.
I think my Spat's able to get the rifle there, but there's just
Spike
not a lot they can
planted.
do because a lot of those ults that I mentioned, good for retake, are off the board
Yeah,
right
the
now.
board. Hopefully they. It seems a very, very huge standstill at the moment. It looks like Sped's trying to regroup with Bannable, and hopefully they can work together to figure out this mess.
I know, but time is just not really on their side. They kind of need to do something and do it fast, but there's so much
Last
pressure
player
retail, and they
standing.
have to re-clear so many things just because there's 3 players. It's just really hard round to win.
Yeah, unfortunately, it just doesn't matter, as those 3 players from Kent State held it down so strongly.
There.
Kent State kind of indecisive on where they want to go. CMU decided not to put that much defense on A, which is a little bit risky. We do see Kent State going there, but I kind of wonder the reasoning for that, because they're leaving a site that they have gone to a lot, just kind of leaving it up to Spat, and Spat hasn't had much luck getting any value off of his utility because he's always the only one there, so he has to kind of prioritize his life rather than playing off of his setup.
Right, and now with what's happening, Spat's now
Spike
down.
planted.
They might need to recuperate and hopefully take that point back.
You see super good teamwork there from Kent State. It just feels like their Omen always has his paranoia out, and he's ready to support the Neon or the Clove. He's just always ready, and unfortunately, it feels like when CMU tries to do that, they kind of get caught off guard when they have their
Last
intel,
player
so-
standing.
Still waiting.
Yeah, I would love to see certain agents supporting the others, like you said, with Breach and Neon. If they could just coordinate 2 of the agents to complement each other, it would most likely work out in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, CMU honestly recovered from that round super well. They didn't lose by a big margin, and you saw them able to get a few kills here and there towards the end when it didn't really seem super possible, but hopefully they reevaluate how they're setting up, and it looks like we're going to see a little head-to-head here between CMU and Kent, because they're both super explosive teams, and we're just going to see all of this utility potentially get traded.
Right. Besides this huge firefight about to occur, there are 2 Central players playing. Well, there was. They're now split off, but Let's see where that one flanking central player will go.
Yeah, unfortunately, Sharan probably should have made the call to just completely
Last
back
player
out there because
standing.
there's just so much util that Kent State has readily available at all times because of all the different agents they have.
Right. I admire Central's strat there of having two players that were going to flank and take from the backside. However, Kent State just was it was a lot more aggressive towards the group and the two players splitting off as soon as people started dying. Just a lot of confidence was lost once that started going down.
Yeah, unfortunately the flank does rely on the members on site performing well because otherwise Kent State will just, there's no players on site and they'll turn around and they'll expect the flank. So the flank does depend on the rest of the team to do super well.
Absolutely, it's all performance at this rate. Especially with that huge cluster that's happening right now. I am very curious to see who's gonna come out on top.
You're seeing that Odin on Lotus and you're seeing how good it can be, especially when it's in the right hands.
Last player standing.
Kent State super on point with their aim right there.
Yeah, Bannable, just like last time, last player standing. Hopefully he can. It's unlikely that
Spike
he'd be able
planted.
to take this, but it would be a pretty good miracle if he could.
It looks like he's just going for saving the rifle here. He's just trying to stay as far away as he can from Kent State, and we'll just see the round play out.
Definitely, just recuperate, or just stay alive and hope for the best.
Yeah, it looks like Kent State is going to go on a manhunt. Probably all up to Neon there just because of how fast you can get around the map. But I do see the merit in saving here, especially because it's just a gun gone to waste if Bannable tries to do this one before. It's a man gone to waste, so you might as well just not even take a fight that you know you're going to lose. But unfortunately, Kent State was able to hunt him down.
Yeah, they ended
round
his
in the half.
game of hide and seek very quickly. But yeah, unfortunately he lost that rifle. But if he didn't start moving, he might have had a few more moments.
Yeah, you see here, so this is one more round until the swap, and Lotus is an attack-sided map, so it's not super uncommon to see, it's not surprising to see Kent State on top, so hopefully CMU will see the same thing, and hopefully they'll come out on top since they'll have more rounds for attack. Hopefully we see some magic happening. yAime's super aware of that.
Would you say that Central is a bit better when it comes to attacking?
With the way yAime is playing right now, I think their attacking could be insane. Just because he's attacking on defense. So how do you think he's going to be attacking on attacking?
One enemy remaining.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Switching sides.
Both of the monitors stopped.
Gotta go.
Last player standing. Long. Spike down. Attacker spawn.
Technical difficulties there, but we see that Kent State, they are doing pretty okay on defense. They're able to get that pistol round.
Right. Yeah, already 5-8. hopefully, it looks like Central's not trying to meet Kent State at their. Oh, I'm sorry. Kent State's not trying to meet Central. Back on that main point.
Yeah, and we are seeing, like I said, on these kind of save-ish rounds, you see them go towards where it's most favorable. On this B site, it can be super good when it's used right. You see, yAime's so impressive there. The only reason he lost that fight, honestly, is because of the gun differential.
Yeah, yAime was just passing through room after room with no, just, I need to get straight to the enemy right now.
You see them essentially just kind of taking turns going after the players of Kent State.
Yeah, some beautiful trades going on right now. Hopefully they can clear this 2v2. They're pretty evenly matched.
Really glad to see Bannable backing up BeefStroganoff there, especially while
One enemy remaining.
They just don't expect Bannable there, and it's just such a favorable round
Last
right
player
now.
standing.
Bannable doing so much damage that it's just in his favor, but unfortunately BeefStroganoff out-aimed.
Super unfortunate, especially since they were doing so well.
Clutch.
A lot more coordinated than usual.
that one.
It was just down to the wire there, because Spidey was so low and only took a few bullets, but he was just ready.
Right.
He knew that it only took one bullet to kill, but now if you have your aim on point, it only takes one bullet to kill.
Yeah. Would you also say it came down right down to the gun difference?
I'm not sure there. I think it was just unfortunate. I think just one player was a little bit more ready than the other one.
Quick feet, quick trigger.
Right.
I'm outta here.
Hopefully they can make a comeback from this. They still have quite a few rounds left.
Yeah, you see, CMU is kind of on a save because you did see them force last round. That's not usually the norm. Usually when you lose pistol, you go straight into a save. But they were feeling a little bit adventurous. But unfortunately, because they lost, they are forced onto another save.
Well, we learned
Last
okay.
player standing.
And they're just
Spike
being shut
down
down.
A.
Right.
Yeah. Very quick round going off right there. Yeah, hopefully they are internalizing this and figuring it out and trying a new play.
I would really just like to see that neon lurk that I mentioned because yAime could get across the map in a pinch if he really needed to, and if he could somehow make his way into attacker spawn without being noticed and pinch from different areas of the site, like it could be so beneficial to the team and how they play, and it would constantly make Kent State nervous about who could be behind them, but it looks like they're just not willing to take that risk, which is fair.
Absolutely. It would have been nice to see, especially on the last.
Super good counter there with the crossfire that they had.
Right. Yeah, just taking Kent State all the way out. And hopefully that they can just clear out those last two players. With the spike already planted, probably making Kent State a little more nervous.
Yeah, they're all playing on site, so it is pretty hard for Kent to do anything here, and you see both of their players are substantially separated. There's not much they can do to regroup besides kill the players that are in their way.
Right.
Them down.
Yeah, playing
One
very
enemy
safe
remaining.
right now.
Yeah, and you see them using all of their util that they can, and yAime closing it out with a 3K.
Yeah, getting their rewards for being patient and just waiting and peeking around corners.
I'm out of here.
And hopefully they can continue that work for them.
There.
Yeah, loving that energy from yAime. You can see when his team backs him up, you can see him so confident in the way that he moves, the way that he peeks. Like, you can see him just itching to run out right now.
He really shines the most when he has his team supporting him. And hopefully, even if he does flank, that he can have someone else flanking with him as well.
Seeing some defiance from Kent here. They were not willing to give up that control so easily, and it cost CMU 3 of their players.
Last
super
player
aggressive
standing.
plays going on in Kent State, and it works in their favor.
It was a super good pinch because maybe they noticed that CMU doesn't work the map, that they can take all of this space and then pinch CMU, which is what I wanted to see personally on the swap, before the swap.
Yeah. With Central as defenders. Yeah, it's Kent State clearly knows what's going on and what they're dealing with. And hopefully Central can catch up.
Yeah, of course. Kind of a balanced round in terms of eco and weaponry, but you do see Kent just reading this super well, but they're not able to do much with it.
Yeah, yAime, I wish yAime probably had at least someone else with him to
It's just so
back
hard
that
for the
up.
rest of this team to just
To catch
also
up.
run
One
in there
enemy
because
remaining.
it puts them at a disadvantage if they're running and with their gun
Right.
outs. You know, they lose that first bullet accuracy. And it's just hard, but you know, we could use the util a little bit more thoughtfully here and there.
It truly is a situation of, does everyone else run in at the same speed as yAime, or does yAime slow down to everyone else's speed?
Yeah, when he slows down, he kind of loses that advantage. So it's a hard call, but a call that sometimes needs to be made.
Right.
Where are you?
Beef already planting the spike, and hopefully will drive away this last Kent State player.
I mean, this round is essentially in the
There.
bag because I'm not sure what Kent State could do because we still have so much util, and as soon as we hear a footstep, all of that util is going towards that footstep, and it's over.
Right. Kent State certainly is trying though, waiting to see at least someone.
Yeah, and this map is super possible for CMU to take the way they've been playing these attack rounds.
Right. Kent State certainly did try to,
Yeah, going
Get
for
that
those
attack.
exit frags right there.
but maybe as a strat to just deplete some of those guns from them.
Yeah, absolutely. That was kind of his plan because if he goes in there, he's essentially walking into a 1v4, and that's just, there's not much he can do there. He can't flick around as humanly possible.
Honestly, that's pretty smart. If you know that this is not going to work, you might as well take a few down with you.
Yeah, and you saw that with Bannable. Saw a round that was practically impossible, and he just tried to stay back and save his gun.
Right. Honestly, extremely smart on their parts. To both save and to complete it.
Flawless execution
Face
from
your fear!
CMU, just taking the site with absolutely no problems at all.
Bring them down.
Lots of ults being popped off.
And CMU's just keeping Kent on their toes. You see you saw their Clove player just looking back and forth. There wasn't much that they could do there.
A lot of
enemy
panic
remaining.
Not just.
coming out of Kent State.
No.
I'm honestly very excited to see if Central could hold off Kent State from winning to the point where they can be an even match.
Yeah, and you saw Kent State kind of got the taste of their own medicine the way CMU was playing that. There was just too many things for them to look at. There was too many players everywhere, and it feels like CMU has finally started learning about how Kent State plays their Lotus maps, and obviously the way they've been playing those maps has been advantageous because you see them higher up on the standings. So I'm glad to see that we're learning from a team that has been doing a little bit better than us this season.
Right. And honestly, if they can beat the third place team, that would be such a huge boost for Central.
Honestly, they're putting up a good fight, even as
yeah,
is.
regardless.
Watch out! Gotta go.
If I was one of these players, I'd be like, even if we did not make it, I'm still proud of what we did here.
Yeah, because they can take what they've learned today and hopefully transfer it not only into future Lotus maps, but just future maps in general and the way that they play. Because the way they've been playing is a lot better than what we've seen. Even if they aren't necessarily winning, I think the teamwork and the strategies have been a lot better.
Absolutely. It's a lot of character development we've been seeing from Central, where the teamwork has gotten a lot better over these last 3 months. And I would love to see them continue this trend.
Shortcut.
See, down there, just every single site is just his. As soon as he activates that slide, like, the site is CMU's.
30 seconds left.
Everyone's very scattered, but they've already found each other.
Yeah, and you see, they're taking all of their fights and they're winning them. They're out aiming Kent State, which is so amazing to see because you saw Kent State essentially on their A game, just kind of falling.
Right. Already, like, I'm very impressed with Central just clearly getting their stuff together and
One
knocking
enemy
in,
remaining.
That's not ready.
figuring out, alright, this is what
Okay,
Kent State is
they're
going
dead.
to do, and
Take
here's how we're
what's
going to
useful.
counter them.
Oh, super good support. Honestly, really loving the way that we're taking B because most teams don't really care to prioritize B. Usually you'll just see a Cypher tripwire or you'll see a KJ alarm bot just to let the rest of the team know, oh yeah, there's someone there. But Kent State's probably going to put more players towards B, and then that opens up different areas of the map for CMU to capitalize off of.
Right. Do you think if they win,
Time to work.
obviously there's most likely a very common point that everyone goes to, but if going to an uncommon point would take them all off their guard.
Right. You could see CMU kind of were anticipating that Kent State would push out, so they're just waiting for them.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, even though they are attacking, sometimes you just gotta let them come to you.
There's so many trades going back and forth. It is ending off in a 2v2. Spad trying to take as much space as he can, and they might just go to B once again.
I appreciate this, like, kind of grouping up, or at least
Tripwire destroyed.
being kind of close together. Although Kent State is fully grouped together and working as a team.
Tagged.
I would like to see Spad regroup with Bannable right about now, just because I feel like it's more risky to leave Bannable alone than miss that timing on the flank.
Especially since I believe Bannable was the one with the spike, where as soon as he's down, Spad has no opportunity to even try and defend the spike or prevent them from defusing.
Unfortunately, Bannable just doesn't expect someone to still be on the spike. He doesn't completely clear that. He only sprayed a few bullets, so it was nothing to Kent State.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was going on. Whether he wanted to conserve his ammo and his gun, or if he just didn't think anyone was there anymore.
Yeah, I really would have just liked to seen Bannable and Spads play on site together. I think it's I don't think it's likely that Kent State would have came up their B main, especially together, because the best place they were seeing was in a spawn. So they're probably just gonna go straight towards A. And I'm surprised Spad didn't see both players with his cam.
Absolutely. Already huge trades happening right now.
Shadows traveling.
Looks like Central is taking more of their time to assess the situation.
Yeah, and we do have two pretty good ults, and I just don't think Kent State has a lot to work with at the moment.
Right. Beef's already planting that spike. Pretty even 3-on-3 right now. Although hopefully Central can clean this round up.
Yeah, because they're just gonna turn around and pop that breach ult, and there's just nothing they can do.
Player standing.
Right.
It's all up to Jay at the moment, and they're just not able to make the strategy work. Like, I saw it there with the breach up, but they weren't expecting Kent
Defenders
State's
win.
neon player
We
to
won,
be
they
in that
lost.
corner. So
This is
Yeah.
unfortunately, CMU does not take the second map, and they don't take another win. But that's okay, because I feel like we learned a lot from this match, and we saw
Right.
a lot of improvements that we've been dying to see this entire season.
Right. Even if they didn't win, still super proud of Central. Hopefully they can get more of their wins next week. Honestly, that Lotus map was very tense because they had very similar teams, and it really all came down to that one neon player on each side of the teams.
Yeah, I would really like to see yAime on Duelist in the future. Maybe just giving that Sentinel role to Spad completely because I'm just loving that dynamic. But I guess we'll see how that goes and how they choose to proceed in the next stream. So please tune in next time and have a good night.
Have a good night. Happy Halloween.
One enemy remaining. Spike planted. Spike. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Spike down. See, last player standing.
That makes 3. Zip.
One enemy.
Too slow.
One enemy.
Here we go.
One enemy. 30 seconds left.
I'm out.
One enemy remaining.
That's not ready. Flash out.